Our next seminar is You Can't Handle the Truth, Smart Sales for Event Pros. Mitch Taylor is a Jeffrey Gitomer certified advisor. He gives Sales for Event Pros workshops across the country, and he's written the book Sales for Event Pros. Please welcome Mitch Taylor.
Yeah. Thanks, Jenna. You want answers.
I think we're entitled to answers.
You want answers?
We want the truth.
You can't handle the truth. My favorite movie of all time, A Few Good Men. And when Shannon brought this topic to me, I'm like, awesome. I am in. But the reality is, in sales, can you handle the truth? In sales, we lose a client, we lose a sale, we're like, oh, they weren't my client. It's not me. But the reality is, the truth is that it's not them. You need to look in the mirror. It's you. So today, we're going to explore 5 key truths to finding a few good brides. Let's dive right in. Number 1, know what you're really selling. I grew up a florist's son. You're not selling flowers. I know many great photographers. You're not selling photos. You're selling details. As a florist, you are creating the aisle that beautiful bride gets to walk down with her daughter or her father on her wedding day. You're creating that for her, that space. You're not making the cake. You're making that beautiful cedar cake that takes her back to her childhood because she grew up at her grandparents' camp where white birches leaned over the pond. You're bringing her back to that moment. You're selling emotion. If you're a photographer, a videographer, and you're showing a shot like this, emotions are what sell. But if you're only showing them this image, you may be missing half the story. Yes, the bride wants to see herself and the beautiful reaction on her mom's face. But here's on her face. But the reality is, mom doesn't get to be a part of that moment. She's emotionally engaged, but later on, mom gets to see it. So make sure you're painting both halves of the story when you're selling your services. Sell the emotion. Sales are justified on logic, but they're made on emotion. You're selling moments. Maybe you're a choreographer. Maybe you're orchestrating a first dance for the couple. Maybe you're a photographer or videographer. Staging is crucial to a successful moment. You want to have smiling faces behind them versus just the trees. By staging these moments and having their friends and family smiling faces, that is so much more important. And to create a beautiful moment for them that they'll remember forever. It's much more emotional with their friends there with them. And then finally, you're selling memories. Think about it. At a wedding reception, 4 generations can gather to be a part of this moment. And how important is it that we have that moment captured by cherished photographers, videographers, wedding pros such as you that are part of that scene, a part of that stage. So make sure you're selling the details, the emotion, the moments, and the memories. Key truth number 2, adjust your attitude. Don't just close sales. You need to find a right match for your services. Quality versus quantity. My good friend Mike Walter has an article in the Disc Jockey News, a publication for disc jockeys, and every month it's called the Q Corner. And that's Mike's sweet spot, quality versus quantity. You need to find that sweet spot balance in your own business. Do not book as many clients that you can't care about. Only book clients that you truly can care about to serve better. You must have an attitude of gratitude and an attitude to serve. You see a red velvet rope stanchion. Photo boothers, you know what this is. You put this up around your booth as people walk in. The reality is you need to have this also around your business. There's a great book called Book Yourself Solid by Michael Port that I would strongly recommend. And it's key to defining your ideal client, determining who you can do your best work for. You have one job. It's not to shoot photos. It's not to create amazing centerpieces. It's not to plan their wedding. Your job is to serve, to help them. That's all your job is, to help them find whatever services they need and to show that you are the right service for them. This is what you're doing. Think back when you were a little kid, helping your brother, your sister get into the cookie jar, right? Helping your friend get that snack, that midnight snack out of the fridge. That's your job. Helping the bride, the groom, get exactly what they want for their wedding day. Number 3, key truth number 3, ask better, more emotional questions. Well, what do you mean by that? There are 2 questions that I would strongly recommend you ask upon any first interaction with a client. Whether that's through the web, Facebook, text, doesn't matter. The first one, how did you find out about our company? Well, Mitch, I already got that information. They filled it out on my form. That's great, but how many times are we bombarded with advertising messages per day? I mean, here in Vegas alone, it's ridiculous how many times we're bombarded with advertising messages. So if you don't ask this question again, and when they first have a meeting with you, and they sit down with you, you're missing an opportunity to connect with others that she may have heard about you from. Oh, well, we saw you on the Knot, but yet my hairdresser also recommended you. Boom, there's another option for you to work out and be a great networker and talk to that hairdresser. Network with other like-minded wedding pros who you can help, and in turn, they can help you. So always ask the first question, how did you find out about our company? Second question, what do you know about us as a company? This is a foundational question because this lays the groundwork for where they're at in the process. How much research did they do about you before they walked into your offices or they checked you out online? And now you know maybe what they know about your company and what they don't know. Maybe you also offer minister services and they're having an outdoor ceremony. Now you can fill that gap. You can serve that need from that client. Very important, those 2 questions. Another question we often ask, initial part of the meeting, where are you from? That's pretty much a one-word answer. Where are you from? This is about asking better, more emotional questions. So don't just ask where you're from. That could be a one-state, one-word town answer. But ask instead, where did you grow up? Because what does that do? That brings them back to their town. That brings them back to their childhood friends. That brings them back to the playgrounds and maybe a first date. So the reality here is that by asking a better, more emotional question, you're connecting with that client on a deeper level than just simply saying where you're from. What is most important to you about your wedding day? Ask ask questions that get to the heart of the matter right off the bat. Very crucial. Finding out what's most important to them can help you serve them better. So what is it? Is it the details, the emotions, the moments, the memories? What do they want to get out of hiring your service or your product for their wedding? Do they want a fun party with lots of glamour and lighting? Maybe more romantic gestures and a serene setting by a pond. If that's your venue, boom, bring them in, show them images of that, walk them through with videos about your venue. A stress-free day. That's where you wedding planners come in. If that's what they want, boom, now you're right there, able to serve them better. How are you feeling today? You can ask that question. You may get a generic response. If you ask instead, what one thing about your wedding is causing you the most stress? That's more pointed. That dives to the heart of the emotion for them, what they're experiencing. This is their first time, more than likely, planning at a wedding. You, as the wedding pro, have done hundreds, if not thousands. So the reality is you need to be the expert with them at that moment and help them through the process. How can you take them from these emojis that they use as text on a regular basis to this? How can you win their love, their support, their smiley faces? How do you want your reception to feel? Again, getting to the heart of the emotion with feeling. Feeling is so crucial because that is what you're selling. As a photographer, you're capturing those feelings. As a videographer, motion creates emotion. And that's so crucial to understand. That bride is never going to see her walk down the aisle in the back of that beautiful white dress flowing without professional video. Make sure you're painting that picture for her. Does she want funny stories shared about her throughout the day? Maybe more intimate moments captured. And finally, how do you want your wedding to be remembered? Great question. As my friend Alan Berg stated in his earlier seminar today, ask a more conversational question. Instead of this question, I typically like to ask, if you could be a fly on the wall with your guests as they're driving home from your reception, what do you want them to say about it? Boom. Right to the heart, right to the emotion of the matter. What if I could guarantee you that I could deliver that? Awesome, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to have an awesome, amazing, over-the-top photo booth experience. Jeremy Breck did a great seminar on lighting earlier. Do they want lighting to absolutely enhance their wedding, their vision for their day? An over-the-top celebration? What are they doing? What are they capturing? What are they creating in those moments for all their friends and family? Key truth number 4, listen to understand first, then to respond. Oftentimes we're not listening with all of our senses, and that is crucial. Sometimes we forget to listen. You need to listen with your eyes just as much as your ears. I know we had a body language expert here at WMBA this year as well. This is crucial to do in your process. So be sure you're actually listening to the answers they give you for some of these great questions that I'm giving to you here today as part of our presentation. Really listen. Check out their facial features when you ask these questions. How are they reacting to them? That's crucial. And finally, key truth number 5 is to convey your value. When I get to the end of my sales presentation for my clients, I always ask, I know we haven't talked price yet, but are there any other questions you may have? I'm asking that question because I want to eliminate everything else as an objection before we get to price. Now, if I can eliminate everything else from the price, except for the price objection, pretty good chance of moving forward possibly. So convey your value through data. These are surveys that I've collected over the last decade with my company, Tailored Weddings. And there are some certain specific questions that we ask in our surveys that we send out. Was the price you paid for our service, including all booking and planning stages and presentation and service at your party, a good value? Please mark 1. We got way more than we paid for. At this point, you might need to up your prices if they're constantly selecting this one. Level of service exceeded money spent. That's your sweet spot. That's exactly where you want to be. Service was equal to money spent. This one, okay. You may want to figure out how you can add more value to your clients. What else can you do to help serve them better? And finally, we do not get our money's worth. That's going to elicit a phone call right away. Let's figure this out. Let's come and have a sit-down meeting, and let's chat about what went wrong and how we could possibly make it better. Another question. Please list the top 3 wedding pros that made your event a success. Why am I asking this question? Networking, absolutely. I want to know who is the up-and-coming wedding planner in that market. Who's the hot photographer that's got the latest, greatest ideas for capturing moments. I want to make sure I'm networking with that person. I'm inviting them to lunch the next week so we can connect. I might be featuring them as well on a Tuesday Tips from the Pros social media calendar that we run out. If you'd like to know more about a social media calendar, please see me at our Creating Connections booth afterwards. Happy to share. And what was the main reason you chose us over other options? This gets to the heart of your USP, your unique selling position. I asked someone yesterday, so what's unique about your company? You couldn't give me an answer. You must absolutely know who your ideal client is, define that person. How do you do that? You go back through reviews like this and figure out which clients you were absolutely geeked to work for and you love working with. And then go back and find out what are their traits. Where do they live, eat, breathe, consume? But find out what was the main reason you chose us over other options. Use those words in your advertising and marketing. And finally, you're not just conveying value through data, you're conveying value through stories. This is Allison and Cleo. Allison got married back in July of 2013. This is her grandfather, Cleo. And that gleam in this man's eye of knowing what he knows and seeing what he's seen, seeing his daughter grow up and get married, and now her daughter grow up and get married, and sharing a dance with her on her wedding day. You see, Allison's father passed when she was just 7 years old. She didn't get to have a father-daughter dance. So for this man to be able to share that moment with her on her wedding day is so much more emotional. And now, a year and a half later, he's passed on. And this picture, I'm sure, is one indelible image in Allison's mind when she thinks about her wedding day. Share stories that convey your value and speak to the heart of what it is that your client truly wants more than anything else about your service. So the 5 key truths. Know what you really sell. It's not photography, it's not videography, it's details, emotions, moments, memories. Adjust your attitude. Have a helping attitude, an attitude of gratitude to serve your clients. Ask better, more emotional questions that get to the heart of what the client really wants. Listen with your eyes and your ears. And finally, convey your value through two ways: data and also through stories. I invite you to keep in touch. I have a Facebook group called Sales for Event Pros. Just type in Sales for Event Pros in the search bar on Facebook. Join our group. We share a lot of sales stories, and you get free sales coaching there as well from myself or my certified personality trainer friend, Vicki Musney. If you want to learn more, you can pick up our book, Sales for Event Pros. I literally wrote the book on Sales for Event Pros as the Jeffrey Gitomer Certified Advisor. Show special today is only $20. And please ask me also how you can receive half off our sales training we have available. If you ever wanted to be a fly on the wall in someone else's sales meeting and see what they did and how they moved the client from process to all the way through to the start to finish, I have those available for you as well. 5 key truths to finding a few new brides. Thank you. Can you handle the truth?